Have you fallen deeply in love with a video game that you crave for more or want merchandises so you can invest for it? Well, that's what happened to me with this game called Until Then. Until Then is a game developed by Polychroma Games and was published by Maximum Entertainment. The setting takes place in my home country, the Philippines. With that said, of course it features a lot of key culture from the country itself, from the varieties of food in the game to the wide traditions we celebrate. With a highly compelling story that makes you want to keep playing in an interesting art style, Until Then easily became a contender for my personal game of the year. Not only that, but each and every character have this minute detail that makes them very interesting and relatable to. I just wish there was more screen time for certain of them, but I'll take what I can get. The game has dark themes to it while having vibrant vibes that progressively becomes shadier as the game goes on, tackling a lot of real-life issues like the character's personal problems of acceptance and moving on to the hardships of a world recovering from a devastating supernatural phenomenon called the Ruling. The Ruling is an event that caused worldwide destructions by introducing massive thunderstorms, flooding, and earthquakes, just to name a few, all at the same time, leaving nothing but rubble and death in its wake. While a mystery, there's more to this seemingly supernatural occurrence, and we discover what it is throughout the game since it's the root of everyone's hardships, mainly Mark Borja, a lazy last-minute crammer, and Nicole Laksamana, the new transfer student. In a world recovering from the Ruling where people are just trying to live their lives the best they can, Mark, alongside Nicole and Luis Ordunia, a child prodigy, discovers just what's behind this supernatural phenomenon and how they are involved in it. You get 3 major playthroughs. That's right, not 1, not 2, 3 major playthroughs, with each of them having their own different endings. It kinda just depends on which one is canon for you, but personally, I made my own headcanon that I will get to by the end of the video, so stay tuned for that. The first playthrough gives you a great introduction to what exactly the world of Until Then is and the characters that lives in it. Mark Borja is a slacker who's always doing things last minute, like any of the other project he's supposed to work on, just tries to live a simple life, with both parents supposedly working overseas. Mark is the polar opposite of Luis Ordunia, the class president and the school's #1 student who's researching something big on her own, something related to the Ruling, after she's been having these weird mixed memories. We also get to meet Mark's best friends, Rydell and best girl Kathy. In this playthrough, Rydell is working on a film and things are looking up for him, gaining investors to budget his film, but not really being around much to spend time with his friends. Kathy, on the other hand, is this happy-go-lucky type of person who's always there for Mark, making sure he's doing alright and dragging him out to shop, watch fireworks, or play video games at his place. Anything just so she could get away from her messy family, which I kinda called out on my first playthrough. There was just something about her that didn't feel right, something she was hiding for some reason, and it was something I could relate to. It's also thanks to Kathy reminding Mark about their poster project that he runs into Nicole. From then on, their fates were sealed. While still in a rocky position, they finally make amends when by fate they meet at the carnival, spending some time with each other and flirting, making so much killing moments that are so sweet I could get diabetes from it. Later on, Mark and Luis talks over about these distorted memories they've been having lately, finding out that they're not the only ones. Luis has a theory about this but thought that she was just going crazy, brushing it off immediately, foreshadowing her fate near the end of the last playthrough. They also briefly discuss the fact that the rain could have a possible connection with the disappearance of people that's been happening lately. After finally deciding to join the piano club, Mark plays a piece from memory that he heard from his mom when he was younger. Coincidentally, Nicole knows this piece. Later, we discovered that Nicole was the person that composed this piece when she was young. We also find out that she stopped playing because of her missing childhood best friend, Jake. Nicole promises to teach Mark how to play the piano properly, and the cauldron of love begins to brew even more. They go through a lot in a short amount of time, and I mean spending a lot of time with each other, even to the point where Mark gets invited to Nicole's family Christmas dinner. So much sentimental moments, it's not good for my blood sugar. Things go south when one day Nicole invites Mark to meet her grandparents. It turns out there was more to this visit, and they end up at Nicole's old and torn down neighborhood. Nicole is still hung up about Jake disappearing, leaving nothing for her to remember him by, ends up with them fighting and going their separate ways. For now. This gave Mark some time to reflect, revealing that his mom is gone. The flight she was supposed to be on disappeared, and there hasn't been any leads. Eventually, the search and rescue team abandoned the mission to help the victims of the ruling. Going through the reports and paperwork was a very emotional moment that got my eyes bawling, like I was just crying out. Family members working overseas in the Philippines was a common practice. The emails, text messages, and even the video he shot for his piano club audition was hope. Hope that she'll respond to it one day. Someone knocks on the door. Lo and behold, it's Kathy, with possibly the best cookies in the world. Mark finally admits to Kathy that his mom didn't come home the Christmas Eve she was supposed to, saying both him and his dad had tried everything they could, but nothing. In the process, we transitioned to Mark dropping off a gift box for Nicole and presumably a letter about his mom, and or maybe asking her to the prom. Prom night rolls around and we get a new look for Nicole sporting a shorter haircut, looking dapper as ever. Mark promises Kathy the last dance, which personally struck me a little weird since I thought Mark would want to save the last dance for Nicole, but besties are besties, so I kinda get it. Mark finally gets to dance with Nicole. While dancing, they both apologize and promise to try and understand each other even more. After all this diabetic moment happened, Mark decides to look for Kathy to give her that last dance he promised, but she was nowhere to be found. In fear that she might have disappeared, Mark, Nicole, and Louise heads out to look for her. Mark finds a piece of Kathy's costume outside of the auditorium and decides to pursue. He eventually finds her, standing there, covered in dirt and costume all ruined, revealing her tattered self. As they approach each other, the worst happens. What is she doing here? Oh, the bright smiles. Yes! Okay, she hasn't disappeared. What? What? No fucking shot! No, 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 no. Bro, what the fuck? Oh my god! Did he pull her out of the way? No, 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 what the fuck? The screen turns black as fireworks goes off, signifying the ones that they'll never get to see together. It's a scene I'm 100% sure broke everyone that have played the game. I mean, I genuinely had to take a short break to process this what the fuck moment, and even more so later on when Mark receives a CD from her brother. The CD contains 4 pirated songs and a message from her. Her message to him was about her living conditions, how her parents would beat her or mistreat her, leaving scars on her body that she tries to hide. She mentions how he inspired her to dream big and see everyone achieve their dreams, to be happy, to live her life, to fall in love, and to never be left behind by everyone regardless of how hard life could be. She wanted to be a racer, and if that didn't turn out, she wanted to be a baker. It was a thank you to him for giving her a meaning to life. It ends with Mark playing the racing game he and Kathy used to play. Then the end credits roll. I sat there wondering, should I replay the game and see if I can actually save Kathy? I made it to the end credits. It asked me if I wanted to continue, and I thought I could play the aftermath or change things. To my surprise, there was more, and I was really excited for it. In this reset, a lot of subtle changes are made that are debatably for the good or the worst. Most definitely the worst, with how harder the rulings seem to hit and relationships drifting away. Rydell is around more, but his film is failing with no investors in sight. It's revealed that Kate is Jake's younger sister and that she used to be really close to Nicole up until Nicole's trauma hindered their friendship. Instead of Ryan on the group project, it's with Kathy and Luis, which got me really surprised that Kathy is alive. But in exchange, they failed the presentation. Speaking of which, Luis isn't as close to Mark as she was in the first playthrough. Adding the fact that Sophia and Mike is not around puts a massive imbalance on Luis's character, mostly work and no play at all. Thanks to this though, we get a much more narrow explanation of what could possibly be going on. Luis explains to Mark and Nicole that the ruling, to put it simply, could have been caused by multiple multiverses colliding with each other, resulting in fluctuations in what she calls the double slit experiment. This experiment is sort of a sign if there's a collision when the laser pointer's ripple fluctuates. Something seems to be better though, starting with Nicole and Kate patching up their relationship, Kathy finally admitting to her family conditions earlier than in the first playthrough, Mark talking to his dad about his mom, Louise talking to her sister about her project, Rydell getting a small crew to work on his film, and there hasn't been a sign of fluctuations in weeks. Of course, under the veil of happiness and diabetic moments like the night they spent Christmas together lies a darker ending compared to the first one. Sure, Kathy is alive just to inevitably disappear like Ryan and Jessica. Not only that, but adding salt to injury and more emotional damage, this time around, Louise is the one to lose her life. After all that, Mark has finally lost it, hoping that while Louise is gone, he clings on the hope that Kathy will one day come back, resolving on sleepless nights and his relationship with Nicole eventually ending. This playthrough pulled a fast one on me, and I played it cause I thought I'd have a chance to save Kathy this time just to lose more. Which kind of teaches a great lesson of being content with what you have than trying to get more or have more. You know, it's at this point I realized that the game likes messing with your emotions. A lot. Just when you think you've recovered from the emotional damage, they kick you down twice harder and proceed to inflict pain. Especially with this scene after knowing what happens in another timeline. Kathy? Is that you? Mark, how long has it been? 2 years now? 2 years and 3 months. Whoa, I didn't expect you to count. Yeah, well, I thought I'd never see you again. Oh no, don't do this. Good. Could you show a little more emotion? I wanted to see how light catches on your expression. No, why are you guys doing this? This is like an aftermath conversation when Kathy died and Mark is like talking to her, so... It's okay. It's okay. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to leave you. But you did. You were gone. But I'm here now, aren't I? Are you... really? Oh, that's a good twist. Catherine, play along. What do you mean? You can see me, can't you? You can hear me. I can, but I can't be here. Not anymore. Mark? I'll always be here for you. You know that, right? Stop lying. You can't be real. You aren't. I don't. I just want you here. I just want you here. And cut. Whoa, I got too fucking real, man. The last playthrough was a bit faster than I expected. I sat down and didn't realize that I ended a stream on chapter 4. There's also multiple resets this time around. Starting out with how the first playthrough began, but this time Nicole and Mark are a little more familiar with each other. After talking to Louise, they find out that the reset happens when they meet each other, so they made a promise to never see each other again to stop the resets. This foreshadows the ending, and I'll explain more later. Fate had different plans though once they meet again at the hospital, Mark there for Kathy because of a mild accident and Nicole wanting to patch things up with Kate early on. This fateful meeting triggers another reset and shit got crazy. I already don't like hospitals, and the way things change kinda scared my soul away. It didn't help that there was a baby crying on the background. Bro. Oh my fucking god, here we go again. Oh shit, this happened before, didn't it? Why? Nicole, where are you? Mark, I feel like you're here, but... she's around here somewhere, I can feel it. I can feel her presence. Bro, you kidding me? This shit's creepy, man. Tornilio Jr.? Dad? Bro, embroiderments, these are moms. What the fuck? She's such a lovely, talented kid. Hello? Bro, do you like it? No, mom, I don't like it. I love it. I can't escape this place. Bro, this is so fucked up. And oh my god, I hate hospitals so much. Not because they take your money, but because it's just this weird atmosphere to them. This doom and gloom atmosphere. While things seem to have gotten worse, they realize that meeting at the marked areas where fluctuations are located tends to calm down when they trigger a reset on them. So, they embark on a mission to keep resetting on the areas that are marked on Luis's map. They meet at the newly built village for ruling victims, which explains why Jessica always seemed to disappear in every reset. The old school where Nicole and Kate was relocated after the ruling hit their location, and the area where Nicole and Kate used to live in. The last reset doesn't go so well when Kate suddenly appears and distracts Nicole from the ritual, resulting in what seemed to be an incomplete reset, but a reset nonetheless. While you do wake up to the smile of best girl Kathy, the situation is more dire than before. Everyone pretty much got relocated to the school, and while there's a Louise in this reset, her and her family are treated as crazy people. Or at least that's the vibe I got from how Rydell and Louise said it in. Mark makes it to the last meeting place in hopes that Nicole will be there, but instead he meets Kathy, and it triggers a series of random memories or timelines. I'm not really sure how to explain this part. It was all kinda random. There's a part where Kathy's falling, and there's a part where there's a gunman. I'm not really sure how to explain this part. Eventually, they are sent to a road down memory lane, but with each other's perspectives. Nicole seeing the memories that caused Mark his traumas, and Mark seeing Nicole's. At the end, they finally meet each other for one last final moment. They exchange words that sounds like it'll be the last time they'd speak to each other, and they say their goodbyes, which gave me mad anxiety for their future. Everything has been built up to this moment, and the goodbyes felt like goodbyes, not I'll see you later goodbyes. Right before the last reset, all we are given for the future of their relationship is, you know, the rest, which could mean many things, but what comes to mind is either you'll know what to do or it's just a matter of time. Mark, Rydell, and Kathy embraces each other, while Nicole again patches things up with Kate. And that was it. While it was a bittersweet ending, we get a montage of everyone growing up, relationships getting fixed, them moving on, and even some achieving their dreams. The last part of the game got me hoping and coping as Mark and Nicole are shown to seemingly talk over the phone about a date, but when we see them in the cafe, their dates are with different people. The game shoots you down for one last moment just when you thought that these star-crossed lovers can finally have the ending they deserve. At some point, I thought they looked at each other's eyes and remembered, but it was a bait. I got hook, lined, and fell for it. I have a lot of beef with this ending in a good way though, cause there's no way in Gehenna that they wouldn't know each other when right after the reset they knew what to do. Mark looked for Kathy and Nicole made up with Kate. That's just me though, I guess. A lot of people in my comment section were saying that, oh, they don't remember. But that's my headcanon. I feel like they do remember but decided to keep it a secret until the day they meet again. Which brings me to my personal headcanon. Their current dates don't work out and soon they realize that they were meant for each other, having this enigmatic familiarity. They leave the cafe ditching their current dates and they live happily ever after, getting married again, even though they have been over 100 lifetimes. The cafe was called Tadhana Cafe, which means destiny or fate. They're just meant for each other and it's fate that's been etched over 100 lifetimes before. I'm definitely coping at this point, but I just want them to finally be happy. There was a montage of the lives that they've lived in a lot of them they were happily married. So I don't doubt in my mind that even in this timeline, eventually, they will get together. I do wish that if a member of Polychroma Games sees this video, please, 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 add an Aftermath DLC where it shows them get together or how the other characters are doing, cause I'm not the only one who wants to see Kathy and Sophia have a future together. They got close in the first playthrough and it felt like it was just brushed off later on. Sophia is not only an important character to Louise, but she's also an important character to Kathy, being there for her when Mark or Rydell wasn't. Also, please, 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 make more merch and make it so that they can be shipped internationally so I can invest. There were these mouse pads that were only available for a limited amount of time through ZenithPads, and their customer service is just phenomenal. Like, that's a shout out to them. I'm not sure how far this video will go, but I do wish that a lot more people would support them because their customer service is it's just amazing. I missed some details like the minigames that are actually really fun and are different from each other, like the fishbowl minigame or the biking minigame. They even had a video okay minigame that I was terrible at, but honestly, those details are best explored when you play the game yourself. The game overall is a 9.5 or even a 10 out of 10 for me. It might sound biased, but there's barely any Filipino games that come out and become this big. Honestly, the only flaw that I found was some characters not being used enough, like Sophia, Mike, and Ryan, who were pretty much brushed under the rug later on, even though they seemed to have a bigger role in the beginning. Especially with Sophia and Mike, who were a big part of Louise's life, making her character turn a 180 when they weren't around to balance her out. A lot of my viewers mentioned that this game was just like Omori in a way, and while I've never played Omori yet, one Google search confirmed this, and yeah, it'd be awesome to see them collab one day if there'd be hope for that. Anyways, that's it for the video. Again, play it. It's just an amazing game that will make you ugly cry. I've seen a lot of streamers say they won't, but they do. It's like famous last words. Lastly, I really did take mental and emotional damage from this game just because of how close to home it hits. I've lost a really close friend before, and seeing Mark go through it was highly relatable. The game does prove that time and having people close to you who cares can help heal these kind of wounds. So, this is a reminder to always, always, always take care of yourself in general, all mentally, emotionally, and physically. Please, 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 seek help if you need it. And remember that there's always someone that cares. You might not know it, but they know it. Again, take care. Peace!